Hi YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I had a rough day 3 days ago, but then just rough by I'll tell you about it, but yesterday I went and we picked up my car that our car that was in a shop and I drove that home. It was nice. I got out of the house for a while. I was thinking about recording it, but it was so cold out. It was all I could do just to do my outside stuff yesterday and housework and whatnot. But anyway, and today I spent quite a bit of time outside. Well, quite a bit is over an hour working out in freezing temperatures, covering some more wood up because we have 4 to 5 inches of snow coming, and the guy that was going to cut some wood for us, he's a handicap guy, but he didn't get the hardwood that he wanted to get for us, so he has some popple, which is softwood that we might purchase from him, but he wasn't able to do what we expected, but we didn't know he had issues, so that brings me to 3 days ago. A lot of you probably know I was talking about my one adult child being rude and lewd and that type of thing, and praising somebody that really shouldn't be in society, a person that does that much damage to other people. And well, anyway, having to well, what I had told him is that I'm gonna not follow any of your posts or like them or anything, just basically. And he would ask to call and stuff, and I had told him he could, but when I was talking to him, the level of upset that I was getting was stealing my joy, what little bit of joy I can gather through the day, and I have to weigh, is this worth it or not? And we're talking about a 35-year-old man. So, it's not a child. So, he ended up blocking me. I went to write him the next day and was going to tell him, look, just do your own thing and we'll limit our time together and, we'll be cool like that. But he had blocked me. Well, that night he called and Doug answered, and it was like garbled or whatever, just weird. And this morning again, he tried to call and Doug answered, and Doug, well, and because my son had hung up on Doug, and so Doug hung up on him this morning. But I wasn't going to answer the phone anyway, so I don't care because I do care. Okay, but I don't care to answer the phone. I don't give control of anybody's mouth in my ear over that phone. The minute it starts feeling depressive to me in any way, I'm done. And a big thing with talking to people is they always want you to help fix their problems over the phone. If they're like that, if they're pushy like that, they're not on there they talk at you, not to you. They're always looking for the next thing to say, even if it's out of context. It may not have anything to do with what's going on in your day. You might reply with a something something and correlate it to what's going on in your day, but they're already thinking about the next thing they're going to say about their day without including yours, if you see what I mean. If they're like injured or something and you're talking to somebody on the phone that has physical ailments, or that they're wanting you to take that pain or fear or whatever from them, and it's a vibe, it's a feeling. um that I have more to that. I would like to explain that a little more in depth if I can articulate it here, but it gets to be, uh if it gets where it's upset in a person's life, I mean, it doesn't have to be an unhappy upset, but if it's like taking time, um, well, let's just say if two people on the phone were talking and they both were injured, whose injury would be more important? And should one person back off and let the other one just ail, or talk about something else that neither one's gonna, um like if one person doesn't really acknowledge the other's ailments but expects them to hear every detail about theirs, that type of thing. So there's different types of phone calls I've gotten, and I don't care to um, counsel or talk, because if I get a vibe that somebody's truly not my friend and they have an ulterior motive, um, I'm done in that respect getting close like that. And if it's my kid calling in making me unhappy, I mean, once in a while I could see that, but not on every phone call, that type of thing. I am not, although I have counseled, I am not a psychiatrist, but I will recommend Dr. Todd Grande is the best I've ever heard in my life as far as teaching people about the human mind. It's he's uh he's got to have God in his heart, because I can be thinking of something that I need help with, and there'll be a video put out about it. And that's not a coincidence. That's Christ's blood working through him. And I don't know why he became a psychiatrist. That would be a good question for him. But it's not an absolute must that somebody should tell you why they got into caring for others, no matter what. I mean, if it's their profession and they've read libraries full of books just to help other people and they have credentials, then who am I to question? My credentials, to sum it up, my biggest achievement would be um, being an ordained minister. But that is not the profession I was ever striving to go into. Um, the ministering and the counseling part of it, perhaps, but I am thinking about taking that big test for psychiatry someday. Um, Not only studying the human psyche since I was in fourth grade, I started with child psychology as a child, and then went into adult psychology after that, and the studies of it, every book I could get my hands on. And actually, then into biology and the different sciences to understand how the human body works. I wondered, do injuries correlate with mental health? And I find they do. Of course, I'm not an expert. That's a good question I can ask Dr. Todd Grande. I wonder if he thinks that the physical can become the emotional, or vice versa, the emotional can become the physical, because that's probably studies that would prove that, and I'm sure there is. I haven't looked them up specifically, but I do know if you're injured, your mental health will fail, and if you have mental health issues, your body can fail. So that's got to be part of a scientific study somewhere. Um, I might look it up without having to ask him. I don't know, but I know it's an absolute fact, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, that goes along with what I'm saying. I'm not going to let anybody get on the phone and make me sick just for their sickness. It's like, no, thank you. No, no, not here. Somebody else, somebody that enjoys that, you know. I got too much going on. You know, really. So, yeah, the our Mercury has a show motor, SHO, so it's really peppy. It's uh well, anyway, some of you know what they are. And I really enjoyed driving it yesterday. So it was nice to get it fixed because driving the truck has cost us an extra $1,000 just going to town and back, which is, that's all cool and everything, but for the same amount of money we could drive all year with our car, you know, so close to it, you know. Yeah, I'd have to calculate that, but I bet I'm about right. So, yeah, it's such a gas hog. The one we were using it's a 79 short box Ford. So, yeah. And the Mercury's actually really good in the snow. So, yeah, yeah, that was fun. Then I heard a country song Doug had been playing in there. Something about, um, what was it? Oh, he didn't want her to leave because he's going to be a better man someday or something. It sounded like Merle Haggard or something, something like that. I don't know. It was kind of a pretty song. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, I like if I'm going to go country, I got to get drunk, and I sure do dread it. You know, or hey, bartender, pop a top on another can. I know some of you have heard me sing them before. Those are my country. Back in when I was in one of the bands I was in, I have been in orchestras too, but one of the bands I was in was country rock, and most of us wanted to go just rock, but the guy who started the band and ended up alone, isn't that funny? Start a band and everybody turns on you because he was trying to go more country. He wanted to go to Nashville, and we wanted to just keep rocking in the USA. And Minneapolis is it's a big hub for music. It's like, well, you go do your thing then, and we'll do ours. So, but yeah, wow, that was a long time ago. I'm surprised I lived this long. Unbelievable. But yeah, it was difficult. It's difficult to push any kid away at any time, or anybody for that matter. But when it infringes on your emotional health, you have to do that. So if somebody actually does or says something in your life, no matter how small it may sound to the outside world, it may affect your life for the rest of your life, actually. So, listening to other people on the phone is not always a good thing. you know. What I always said is they're lucky I don't act like them because I would do it better. You know, watching narcissists all my life. Oh my God, I know all their tricks, not just one of them. Not just them inside their head, but many, many. You know, You should see a whole room of Masons and Eastern Star all together. You would not believe it. Talk about narcissist central. For real. You'd never experience anything like that in your whole life. You might want to, but trust me, it's not pretty. They think they are. They all think they are. They all think they're better looking than everybody else on the planet. Not that we're all equal or have our own attributes that are gorgeous, but they all think they're the most gorgeous. Not sharing in what God made or seeing God's face in everybody, but looking in the mirror and literally thinking that they're the end all and be all of what God made, you know. Yeah. That reminds me of Jonathan Kleck. Is that guy a Gorant? Um is he a fathead or what? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. But I really would like to know who he murdered. He said he was in prison and he was a murderer. I'd like to know who he killed and what he thinks is a reason, you know? Why? There's never a why, you know, when you do that dark of a deed, you know? But actually, and that goes back to words too, if people are actually intruding on your life in a manner that is to mean harm, even if it's with their words, what if they were talking to somebody and they had a heart attack? Would they be responsible for a murder? In God's eyes, I'm sure they would be. They think they're slipping all their bullshit under the table and getting away with it when actually they're torturing themselves. That's what happens. But like it's people say, not my circus, not my monkeys. Well, it's not my circus, but I feel everybody connected, so I can't say not my monkeys, but I'll just say it's time to put some of them monkeys in a damn cage and make them behave and keep them away from the other monkeys so we don't get hurt. And that's the type of thing on this planet that needs to be psychologically pinpointed and put in check. Like I told Doug, I said, can you imagine the people in my life that have tried to mentally and emotionally mess with me? First, me becoming a counselor and then a minister and being a paraprofessional and working around a lot of mental illness. But imagine becoming a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but preferably a psychiatrist, and just knowing the psyche of somebody that would say, here's a narcissist line. There must be something wrong with your head, or there's something wrong with you, or you're not thinking right, or that's not the way it is, or what would lead you to that conclusion. Um, little things to belittle your thought pattern. What if a person that has been treated like that could come back and lay down evidence, scientific evidence of the human psyche and say, look, this is where you fall on the dark triad scale. This is you right here. How do you like that? And have proof, medical proof of what they're doing to a person. Yeah, that's what I'm all about, is proving it. It's like you want to meet a narcissist, ask me. You got a narcissist in your life? Film it. I'll tell you how to put it in check. I'll tell you what to do with it. Well, I'll tell you what to do with it. Yeah. But literally, I can help you with it. you know. Hey, I would say not life coaches. They're pretty lame. They don't have any degrees. They don't have any license of psychiatric help. How do you help somebody if you don't know the human psyche? How would you um, counsel a psychopath or somebody with schizophrenia or somebody with autism? these life coaches are out there, and like if you do this, and some of what they're spreading is out of medical books, but and techniques that have been used that do work. um I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is not knowing everybody on an individual basis. These people have groups of people come in auditoriums and they life coach them. How the hell can you coach my life when you don't know one iota of what my life has been or who I am on the inside? But yet they're going to give me advice on what my next step should be and how I should go about it. I don't think so, you know. So they're taking a big risk with other human beings. That's the way I see it. Well, that's on them. If they want to make money off of people telling other people what to do, and other people aren't smart enough to do their own thing and be their own cheerleaders like that, it's like, I don't know what to tell you. you know, Making friends out here, that's different than claiming that I'm some kind of life coach. What's a real life coach? God. A real life coach is a mom, you know, or a good dad, I imagine. Can't say that I know one. Well, I know, not personally, I know of them, but never seen one. So, never met one, I should say. I did have seen them, what appears to be good dad. But, so, I don't know, that's pretty much what's on my mind today. Not a whole lot, but, and I am freezing. Dang, my heat just came on. I gotta go close my, curtains and drapes for the nighttime so the windows stay. That's a wintertime thing around here. Open them, close them. You know, some of you know what I mean. But, let's see what else is going on. Not a whole lot, I don't think. Really, for every personality disorder, if you listen to Dr. Todd Grande, he is such a good teacher. Once you learn the words and the definitions for the illness that you're studying in another person, not these slang terms that they stick out there or whatever, but an actual personality disorder that he will have, not solutions perhaps, but advice on how to deal with certain personality types. Hey, he's the best. He's the best I've ever heard in my life. Even of all the writings compiled that I've read, um, he is such a good teacher. I can't sing his praises enough. I'm serious. And he is so logical and so thoughtful with his words. Just a really nice guy. Really nice guy. So I would suggest whatever is ailing you or not, if it's ailing somebody else. But if you have big time issues emotionally, that would be the guy I would talk to. If I was ever going to pay any kind of psychiatrist to check out my head, um, which I did one time to go against the Masons. I wanted to get a clear bill of health and then invite them in counseling, which they didn't go with me. And it's like, yeah, that's what I thought, you know. But yeah. And yes, I got a clean bill of health. So, yeah. Oh, not that I don't have my issues. We all have issues. Um, I would say from being abused, I don't have anger issues, but I have anger towards that. And the more it happens, the more pissed off I get. That's a human reaction. So it's really nothing mentally handicapping me, you know. And if I didn't have God in my heart, I'd probably be a serial killer, you know, really, because people do piss me off, you know. But I have God in my heart and I love everybody, so there's the difference, you know. And that brings me back to Kleck again. I wonder what he did. And I wonder if he has any credentials. He claims he's been a minister for. I put my license out there, it's in a video. You can see it. I'm registered in Pine City, Minnesota courthouse as a licensed minister for our state. I'd like to see Kleck's credentials. You know, I have my paperwork from when I was confirmed in the church. The first time I learned the Bible, I was 15 and I knew it pretty thoroughly. And then with all the words and the studying I did alongside the Masons, Jesuits, I learned that sucker big time. And language skills help, human psyche helps. So, yeah, I've been studying a lot in my life. But, yeah. So, I mean, when people claim they're out there helping people, it really makes me wonder, how qualified are you? And are you comfortable with other people's lives in your hands? You know, just wondering. So I'm going to leave it on that note. I love y'all. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, taking a jump and going into professional counseling is a big, it's a big responsibility. Huge, you know. So any kind of ministering, when you're telling other people what to do in life, you better make sure you know what you're doing for yourself first, you know. So anyway, you know, that leaves me here, and then I'll leave it on that note. These people can barely put two sentences together from the Bible and articulate anything of it on their own understanding that makes any sense. And I see a lacking and a limited human concern, you know. I'll leave it there, people. Thank you for joining me. I don't know when I'll be back. I think tomorrow, but I do have a lot of stuff to do, so I'll just have to see how that goes. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.